I think historian Mike Conroy said it best. What started out as a replacement costume for Spider-Man turned into one of Marvel's greatest web-slinging nightmares. Here's Strictly Geek's Top 10 Venom storylines. What's going on, Strictly Geek? I'm your host, Dave the Hammer Messick, and welcome to the Top 10 storylines of Venom. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. Number 10, Dark Reign, Sinister Spider-Man. This is during the reign of the Dark Avengers when Norman Osborn and his team have taken over the Marvel Universe. There are evil doppelgangers posed as some of the best-known Marvel heroes, and the evil Spidey is actually Mac Gargan, the once-known Scorpion. He is now the new proud occupant of the symbiote. Number 9, Venomverse, written by Cullen Bunn. If you guys ever wonder what it would be like for some of your favorite characters to get hit by a symbiote, well, it happens in this one. Captain America, Black Panther, and Rocket Raccoon are all infected with the symbiote. Doctor Strange basically has to collect them and reverse it to save the day. Number 8, Ultimate Spider-Man, written by Brian Michael Bendis. So what happens in this storyline is Peter Parker comes into play with his old childhood friend, Eddie Brock. But not only that, Peter Parker's father is alive in this issue, and Eddie Brock's dad and him are friends. Well, they end up working on an experiment which causes a lot of trouble for Spider-Man. That's right, Spidey's dad and Eddie Brock's father are what caused the Venom symbiote and all the trouble for Spider-Man. Number 7, Venom Madness, written by Ann Nosatine. So the Juggernaut comes in contact with some really bad chemicals and it makes him go mad, hence Venom Madness. Him and Venom are at each other's throats the entire issue. So if you guys want to see an unstoppable force go up against an incredibly strong symbiote, this is the comic for you. Number 6, Venom vs. Carnage, written by Peter McGillen. Now in this storyline, we get to see Venom go head-to-head with his offspring Carnage. I know, a little weird that Carnage is actually an offspring of Venom. But hey, it is what it is. But not only that, Spider-Man is actually in this issue, and he's going to try to take out Carnage on his own, but he just can't. Carnage is too powerful. So Spider-Man goes, asks Venom, his normal villain, for his help to take out Carnage, and they realize that they have to do it together. But not only that, they also have to take out Carnage crazy offspring as well. Symbiotes are just crazy, guys, and if you like a crazy symbiote storyline, this is the one for you. Number 5, Agent Venom, written by Tony Moore. So, the symbiote is no longer with Eddie Brock, but actually bonds to host Flash Thompson. For you guys that don't know, Flash Thompson was the bully to Peter Parker back in high school. But after Flash Thompson graduates, he seems to mature a little bit, heads off to the U.S. Army, and ends up being quite the guy and quite the serviceman. But in war, he had both of his legs taken off, which is just awful. But when he gets back, the symbiote actually ends up bonding with him, turning him to a superhero. Now, the symbiote will actually go off the host feelings and emotions. So since Flash Thompson's actually a pretty good dude, Venom actually becomes a pretty great superhero and a great ally to Spider-Man. Number 4, Venom Dark Origin, written by Zeb Wells. So it is exactly what it says. It's a dark origin about Venom's storyline and basically who he is and how he handles situations. But how he handles situations sometimes is not that great. So if you're into the gore and you want to see a symbiote be an absolute boss, this is the storyline for you. Venom holds back. Not at all. You get to see limbs being ripped off, Venom being a straight beast in his element, and there's no holding back. It takes the gores from 10 all the way up to an 11. Number 3, Spider-Man, Birth of Venom. Guys, this storyline is just written by a lot of different authors because it is the main storyline that we get to just see anything to do with Venom. It happens in this. If you want to get to see a little bit of Venom's origin, if you want to get to see a lot of different storylines with Venom, if you want to see Venom just being a straight, nasty beast, Spider-Man, Birth of Venom is the series for you. It literally covers just about everything. Number 2, Maximum Carnage, written by Tommy DeFlacco and Terry Cavanaugh. So basically this storyline is an epic storyline of Spider-Man and Venom versus Carnage and all the other symbiotes. If you want to see a symbiote war and you want to see Venom and Spider-Man basically trying to take out Carnage and all the other symbiotes, this is the storyline you want to read. Maximum Carnage is dark, it's gritty, it's brutal, and it gets to show a little bit of all the symbiotes and what they're truly capable of. Wow, now that's a heck of a list. We've got to see a lot of great different Venom storylines, all the way from him teaming up with Spider-Man to take down Carnage and the gory backstory of Dark Origin. Now it's time for our number one spot on today's countdown. And for our number one spot, Venom, Lethal Protector, written by David Michelinie. In this storyline, Venom, Eddie Brock, he's actually trying to be a good guy and no longer just being awful and terrifying people, even though he still kind of does. He moves on out to the San Francisco West Coast, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be a good guy. He promised Spider-Man he would no longer just be a villain as what Spider-Man thought he was, but he's trying to do good. He ends up saving a few people, doing a couple good things, but the police end up seeing Eddie Brock, and he gets thrown out. So what happens is Spider-Man catches whiff that he's back in San Francisco and he thinks he's up to no good. Spider-Man goes to confront him and say, "Yo, Venom, I thought you said you were going to do good." Come to find out it was a misunderstanding. Venom is still trying to be a good guy. In this storyline, we get to see him finally transition from a villain and into an anti-hero. Well, that's it for today. I'm David the Hammer Messick, and thank you for tuning in for Strictly Geeks' Top 10 Storylines of Venom.